Okay, good evening, Chennai, and it gives a great feeling to be here, attending events, and which is what we are used to for a very long time. Okay, I have an excellent team with me here. I have Ajish, I have Johnson from TAM, then I have Bharat Gaddam, an entrepreneur, then we have an agency gentleman here, Uday. And we unfortunately couldn't. We don't have Shrikant from Kaleshwari, so I'm going to be directing Shrikant's questions to you.
No
Sure.
problem.
Okay. Where do we start? Who wants to take it first? Can we have some spice masala? Can we have some controversial questions, which we can ask Johnson, which we can ask probably our agency friend here? Okay. Now, so I start with Johnson. Johnson, you've been in this industry for a very long time. You know,
Yeah, it's almost 7 years.
we've seen over the top, we've seen linear television. My serious question to you, and while I'm not sounding controversial, do brands and brand custodians really do they really believe in numbers? Is there any faith in research? Is there any faith in ratings after all what we saw?
Good evening, everyone. Uh,
Should I
as
should I ask?
no, I got you.
You got it.
So just to answer your question,
No, it has to be a controversial answer.
all the brands, some point of time, they need a research. They need to know what the market is and how the end user is taking their products. If I can quote an example of today's discussion, where Mr. Respected Sir, Mr. Chandiran from Chennai Silk, he quoted कि they have been into this Chennai Silk for quite some years. And the first outlet which they had opened, that was at Madurai. But that outlet didn't do good because they had not seen where the outlet should be. And post that, when they got to know, and then the sir said it was a lot of data which helped them, and then they knew that the outlet should be in the city, heart of the city. So there was a lot of data which had helped them. So this is a perfect example which I feel for all type of brands, the research plays a very important role. Any given point of days, they can just go back and see which contents are being watched a lot and how are their brands or their ads which are going to be displayed, or they can select the programs and they can select the actual timing so that they have maximum reach of their products. So I feel
Shankar,
the research is very important.
just spice it up. While there's no doubt that research is important. People want to take decisions based on data. I want to tell you one fact, right? And that is told by marketeers in one of the very famous research by Nielsen. More than 75% of the marketeers told that they make decisions basis perceptions, right? And the reason is not because they don't want to do decision making basis perception or
So you
beliefs.
differ, or you agree?
No, they want to, that's what I'm saying. They want to do it, right? But most of the times they do it basis perceptions and belief systems.
Not controversial. Need some more spice.
Okay, let me spice it
No,
up
I'm
for you.
coming. No, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you.
So
You will
we
have
are
more. I know. So no, I agree. But Chennai Silks is just one of the examples. Me and Tam, me and Johnson, we did a very interesting work for one of our clients in Coimbatore. And don't get me wrong. I don't. It's not that I don't endorse or embrace research. I do it. But sometimes, the amount of faith, that's going down. That's why, I wanted to ask that. I wanted to start this session with you so that it becomes slightly more. We all become viral. Okay. Anyway, we've lost the opportunity. Now I'm coming to Ajish. Ajish, I find, your, in healthcare, today, most of the people here in this room, we all have a product to advertise. Somebody has soap, somebody has retail, somebody has specs. But when you wake up in the morning, how do you wake up? Do you wake up thinking that, oh my God, today I want more people to fall sick? The more people, if somebody calls you up and says that oh my God, I have sore throat. I'm not well. Fantastic. Come to GEM. No, it's business end of the day. So how do you, today the way healthcare brands are, do you really need advertising?
I may put it this way, it is a big yes and a big no also. Now, if you look at the ethical part of it, it is a no. Like what you said, I don't pray that anybody falls sick because I also have a family. I myself can fall sick. I'm a human being. Everybody can malfunction at one point of time. But why is advertising very important for healthcare is only because of a reason that we want to be somebody in your family. That is the core objective of any healthcare which is advertising.
But aren't you commoditizing your, like for example, today it's become like a commodity, right?
I wouldn't put it as a commodity, but if you think in a very broader perspective, it is more of awareness, which is a super load of awareness after the pandemic, which has actually happened. You need not eat that. You need not eat this. You have to dress like this. You'll have to smell like this. You have to cut your hair like this. All of them are talking about many things. So it is a overload of information which is actually coming, and people are very, very informative about the healthcare, where to go, what to go. See, let us be very frank and practical and upfront. People know where to go. People know where to go.
Okay.
We don't have to teach them why are you supposed to go, why not you are supposed to go. So let me ask the audience also. If I tell something...
No, don't ask. There are 3-4 healthcare professionals.
No, that's what. See, that is where I am coming from. The meaning of healthcare, or if you say hospital, what immediately comes up in your mind?
Fear.
Oh, okay, that is a good one. I have never heard about that.
Bills.
Okay, no, a brand. We are talking about a brand here.
So I heard you said bills.
Bills, yeah.
Bills. Hospital, you said hospital bills.
Bills.
Okay.
No. I'm talking about a brand here, not about an emotion. Yeah. When you say healthcare, at least in Chennai, what comes to your mind immediately?
Family doctor, like someone closer.
A brand. Give me a brand.
You want me to name a brand?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Apollo.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. So we are thriving to get there. We are somewhere down, we are thriving to get there. All the healthcare brands are thriving to get there because that is the top of the mind recall. And we want to create that kind of a niche where, see, you know that the so-called brand is mostly not affordable for everybody, but everybody wants to go there. It is a wannabe kind of a stuff. That is where all the healthcare workers are getting down there. Now that God, I have to thank God after the pandemic, there are other brands also emerging very well. Very well in a very good platform. So the thing is that both the sides are required because we also have to run the chain of demand and supply. We are also feeding a lot of people. There are a lot of healthcare workers who've been pledging their life during the pandemic, and we were the frontliners or See, it was easy for everybody to work from home and other kind of stuff for other people, but we were there where we know that Corona was there. So we were hand in hand with Corona and we were working there. So I would request all of you to give a great round of applause for all the healthcare workers who have done their great job onto it. So to answer your question, it is a big yes and a big no also.
It's a big yes or a small no?
It is a big yes and a small no.
You want to ask the audience opinion?
Yeah.
The nation would like to, Chennai would like to know.
Yeah, Chennai wants to know.
Okay. Uday, what I wanted to ask you, I've always been, fascinated. See, today, there are so many broadcasters, you are a media expert and you handle some of the big clients in Chennai. Today, so when you do a planning for OTT and television and so on and so forth, are there certain broadcasters who are willing to compromise on their television rates to get themselves accommodated on OTT? How serious is OTT as a business? So today, while I have Anand Charles here, Anand Charles, are you there? Or has he left? People today, in fact, I was talking to Shriram, there is nothing less than 1 million views. When people upload something, within 10 minutes, you have million, 5 million, billion, 2 billion, 3 billion. I don't know who watches. Somebody must be watching. So now how do you get this matrix? Like for example, while there is so much of OTT is being treated like a demigod, but we still find the best of properties on Netflix or Amazon Prime using television as a medium to promote. Correct? So when broadcasters come to you, how do they actually sell? And how do you go and sell this to your Star Health and Amritanjan and all those clients?
See, broadcasters, even some of the largest broadcasters have their own OTT platforms, right? They treat it as a different cost center, different profit center. They don't actually package and sell them. Right?
I also read a report recently that none of the OTT players are making money.
Uh,
True or false?
Yeah, not as much as they should be.
Except Daily Hunt, they've been funded very well. Anand Charles has left.
I don't think.
Anand Charles is
I don't think
left.
they're also not making enough.
No, no,
money as they
they've
should
been
be.
funded well. I see they've
They're
been
funded
getting a
well.
lot
Of course, they are a unicorn now. See, OTT and platforms like Times Internet and Daily Hunt, they only make about 10-12% of the overall digital ADX, right? Digital ADX itself is only about 25-30% of about 80,000 crores of overall media spends, right? In that digital ADX, who makes the most of the money is your search and social networks like
Facebook
your
and Google.
Facebook, YouTube, and your search. And because I think it's kind of abused that and everyone has been selling digital like that it can be tracked. I know every click can be tracked and all that. It's kind of abused to the point of
Don't worry, he's not a digital guy, he's a data guy.
Yes.
People kept putting money behind performance, right? If you ask me, you shouldn't be looking at it as a digital as a performance medium at all, right? You can do a lot of brand building in digital. And if you ask me personally, you shouldn't be looking at media planning. You should be doing audience planning, right? Whether audience is there on TV or OTT, or on a short video app like Josh, or in a Daily Hunt, or in a Times Internet site, doesn't matter. End of the day, you need to reach certain number of audience. You have certain objectives, right? You have a business outcome. And to achieve that business outcome, you convert that into certain media objectives, right? So to achieve that objectives, audience objective, again, I think we need to rewire our thinking also from that point of view. I don't think we should be looking at, I will do TV planning, I will do OTT planning, I will do social media planning, right? It has to be audience planning. I need to reach so many people so many times and how much attention they are paying to my ad. So some of those attention turns into, business outcome for me. From that point of view, so there are, right now, both your broadcasters and your OTT platforms coexist beautifully. And in the last year and a half, I think OTT platforms have grown substantially on the back of, pandemic, people sitting at home, stuck and confined to their four walls and having nothing else to do but to watch, keep consuming endless amount of content. So there are a lot of growth from that point of view, but I don't think they're able to monetize it as much as they should be, right? Because, like I said, how digital was initially sold and still continues to be sold in a certain way. People put a lot of money behind performance and forget, videos. It's the end of the day, OTT is a video platform, right? Video is AV. I think most of the iconic brands that we have seen that have come from this market. And people who have spoken before us, like your Classic Polo or Chennai Silks, Vasant & Co., they have all built their brand on video platform, which is your TV, right? Same way, you can build your brand with your OTT platforms also.
But tell me honestly, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I guess I have a lot of my friends here from the print industry.
Yeah.
2 years back,
Yeah.
I'm talking about pre-pandemic, when we did a session, though I was convinced and moving towards digital and all that, but there was one incident where when we had one of the events, where we had to take an ad in Hindu. Okay, Hindu, for all said and done, print, I have a great respect for that medium. When that ad was delayed by a day, I was like fuming. I said, but even today when people come and start writing obituaries about certain medium, print, do you agree that there is a day when digital can replace print? Or can you, in a country like India, can you survive without television and do only an OTT plan and show this as a masterpiece?
I don't think your TV penetration is only about 70%. That's what last BI
Talking
estimate
about
says.
18.6 crore cable and satellite
Yeah,
homes, right?
and we still have a long way to grow. Even TV itself, we're still underpenetrated from that from TV point of view itself, right? And digital also. Only recently we have seen the digital maturity increase, right? Like people spending more time on various digital avenues, not just about instant messaging, chatting with my friend, but more than that. I consume content, I create content on platforms
So,
like
which
yours.
means digital still has a lot of time to catch up to print and television.
So I just
Yeah,
want to add,
I think in terms of ADX, digital is, I think, way ahead of print right now.
No, no,
Yeah.
but that you're talking about Facebook
From
and Google, right? I'm
yeah.
saying overall. Uh, uh,
So other small other platforms. No, I think some of the larger platforms, some of the larger OTTs are already making a lot of money with Hotstar,
Z5 and all those guys.
Z5, with their impact property. They have invested heavily behind content, right? Not just the Hotstar has, of course, the flagship live sports, and Z5 Z has their own own portfolio of content, and they also invest in originals. Almost all of these guys are investing behind original content and a library of content, not just Indian but also international library, right? Uh, so I think some of these guys are already are there, like growing to the level of some of the other larger print players in the country. And of course, I mean, I think at least there are two examples from this market. Print, print publishers who have pioneered, digitization way back, you have Hindu, you have Vigadan, who have, went digital long ago, right? I think that mix, Mr. Srinivasan also talked about how their digital is a much larger revenue stream today than the print. So I think they will also evolve, and some of the other guys in the digital ecosystem will also catch up to the, in terms of course, the trust that you place on a news brand like a Hindu, physical paper.
That's what I was coming to.
Yeah, is different from, I hope Anand doesn't take it offensively on, say, a DH, Daily Hunt as a news platform. Because Daily Hunt is not just about
Because any news which goes on digital, immediately we have people calling and saying that is it true?
Yeah.
Because we have had Facebook and WhatsApp do campaigns on television and print.
Yeah.
One side we say print, the growth of print is,
So, yeah,
and then other side they will themselves, certain brands will themselves use print and say, print is not reaching us, but digital is reaching. I
Shankar,
find that completely.
There is also this fragmentation, right? Even though we say 50% of Indian population is digitally connected, it's not like a television channel. Like I run a campaign. It takes me to probably a week. Say, for example, if I put an ad in newspaper, I build on the same day I reach everyone. I assume that I reach all the people who read the newspaper on the same day, right? But in TV, it will take a little more. Like maybe it takes 4 days, 5 days to build that same level of reach. In digital, could be a little longer. And in digital, it's not just concentrated on one Sun TV or a Vijay TV or a Colors.
You can say Pudhiya Thalaimurai.
What?
You can say Pudhiya Thalaimurai, no
Yeah,
problem. We won't
Colors,
mind.
Pudhiya Thalaimurai, right? It's fragmented across platforms or multiple touch points within digital itself.
I have to interrupt you there
Yeah.
because Bharat,
yeah,
you have a client, you have research, you have an agency. Bharat basically manages a company called Data Poem.
Yeah.
So he basically does a lot of data mining and all. So where do you fit in here? So like for example, if a client, so you have an excellent product. I have Satya sir here. The product is good. Now, what is the acceptability of all this?
see, what happens is the reason why we exist is because there is no unified platform which can tell brands what is working and what is not working in a holistic way. Basis outcomes. When I say outcomes, sales, walk-ins, leads, Bark can tell you so many
You are
people.
basically doing 50% of his job and 50% of his job. Am I right?
I
Or
think,
slightly?
I think we should be working together.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, so that's what. So basically, what we do is we tell the brands in terms of the different marketing activities that the brands did, what is the causation of all those activities on outcomes, and hence they can plan better. Like to go back to your first question, do they actually know the numbers of what is working and what is not working? That's where we come in.
Johnson, I want to ask you, like, you have a great experience of handling clients and brands. So now the kind of response what you get for a national brand, when you go and present to them research and the complicated matrix what you have, do you do regional and smaller brands also embrace it the same way now that you have second generation entrepreneurs coming in? How do they take this whole process of research? Or do they just say that you give me whatever you want, if it comes in my favor, I accept you. If it doesn't come in my favor, I don't accept you. Just take us through the kind of clients who have accepted you wholeheartedly.
Basically, what happens ki, as you said, ki we have national clients, we have clients, small clients also. So when their approach is totally different towards what is expected from a data or what is expected from a research company. For them, it is a small genre. They, when they are talking about, just for an example, if it is a local paper in Maharashtra, so he is more interested, the client would be more interested about knowing what is happening in Maharashtra and what are his players compared to his, the people who are local publishers, what they are doing. So they will not take the entire research. So they will take only for particular for that region. But however, there are like, if we take about Times of India or the player who are like all over India, they want to understand the entire market and they want to understand ki where actually their numbers are high or where they have more readers and how can they reach more people. So it is purely depends on the brand, whether they are national level brand or a state
No,
level
no.
brand.
I'm asking about basically brands who are tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. I'm not talking about your levers and I'm not talking about those big brands. I'm talking about smaller brands. So you're saying so they also embrace research to a large extent, is it?
Yeah, they also want to know ki how their product is performing and how are the ultimate users, whether they are happy with it, but not on a large scale, but at least for their commodity or whatever their product is, they would like to have that research.
Ajish, the healthcare ecosystem, what we have today. So the moment you talk about advertising and reaching out to, so what comes to your mind? Does OTT come, end of the funnel or what? So how do you plan? I know you are in a very, I can't even, ask you a certain questions, because you come from the healthcare. So how do you do your basic planning? Do you have big agencies who come and give you or?
See, basically, healthcare is a different, what to say, animal altogether. You can't solicit, first of all. You can't ask a person that, boss, I am having so-and-so services. You can come here. That is all you can say, basically. Or even to introduce a doctor to the field, MCI has a couple of regulations onto it. If the doctor is going abroad for a study, yes, we can congratulate him in the print media. Or if the doctor is changing from one place to another, his practice, then we can say. It is a welcome note that we can give. This is all it is, basically. Now, OTT and all is very far-fetched for us because the budgets are skyrocketing. Basically, we don't have so much of money to spend.
No, it is not all that expensive.
Yes. That is the reason why everybody is running behind the digital part of it, wherein you call it a SEO or making you make what to say a YouTube video or you say what exactly is happening onto it. But unfortunately, what had happened is that like all the other people sitting here, I will also agree to the fact that we've not done anything on research. It is all one man's idea or a couple of people's idea or past experience.
You mean search or research?
Research.
Research, okay.
So it is not backed up by data. For example, somebody thinks that somebody has a healthcare unit or a hospital somewhere in the tier 2 city. Now, tier 2 city, what happens is that basically, I'm just giving you an anecdote onto it. Tier 2 city, people want to come to a hospital for all their requirements because it's a one-stop shop, wherein you have a big setup. But in Chennai, people who are in Mogaper will never travel to somewhere in OMR, even though if you have a better aspect of it. What is the reason behind it? It's because of, okay, the healthcare is available at my doorstep. I will treat there, and if at all something happens, then I will think about something else. Now, this might be, what to say, in contradiction with a lot of things which happen. So what happens is that somebody who has a hospital somewhere in the tier 2 city will start aping the same thing in Chennai also, which is not practically possible. So the animal here is different, the animal there is different. The people who are looking at the animal are different, and the people who are looking at the animal there is different. So the thing is that certain people go with the brand for most of the reasons that a brand has been established, whomsoever is working inside the brand doesn't make a difference. For example, a doctor doesn't make, okay, you go to this brand, you get your things done. Okay, it is there. They know about it. But there are some brands which have to brand their doctors also, unfortunately. So once they move, there is a possibility that they can take away the clientele also with them. So there is a lot of ifs and buts, and the thing is that the research-based, spend part of it, or research-based media planning is not being done. We think that everybody is giving a newspaper, okay, let's also go ahead with newspaper. Everybody is going on YouTube, let's also go ahead with
I
that.
can immediately recommend you a lot of very, very good agency friends here.
And I would love to
He's
meet
open
them.
for-
I would love to meet them.
Without pitch, so
No, actually, yes. Because see, the one thing I want to make it very clear here is that each and every money spent by any hospital is the money of the patient. So that has to be very prudently spent. So in that case, ROI and top of the mind recall has to be very, very calculatively constructed. So it can be, see, just giving an ad doesn't work that way. Okay, you can create that kind of a buzz. Instead of advertising and getting into the media platform as such, what I would rather suggest is that get on the field, get to your neighbors.
like if you have a slight headache, you'll be anemic, anytime you will fall, anytime you will faint, go to the nearest hospital. Ads like that, no.
No, those are those are too much of misleading.
Well, I was joking. I was wondering if people are sleeping or... Okay. But Uday, I want to ask you, so now, when we used to launch channels and publications, people used to say, my God, so many channels, so many newspapers. Now you have everything, so many. Now, the last 1 year, there's been an overdose of OTT. You take every state, Kerala is a state, probably has about 6 or 7. Tamil Nadu has 5 or 6 and continue to grow. And so are Hoi Choi from Bangla and then... so where is this going? Now,
about a year ago, I found on Haryanvi OTT. I don't know if they still exist.
Sorry?
Haryanvi
OTT.
OTT. They were producing content specifically in Haryanvi. I'm not sure if they still exist. I haven't checked them out in a long time. See, vernacular, I think what we have to remember is vernacular is going to be the future. Not just about English or Hindi. I think other non-Hindi regional languages will also grow. Not just about OTT. I think even from a print point of view, even from, I think, some of the people here will agree, physical print is still alive because of vernacular print, right? And same way in television also, from what it was, Odisha as a market, right? Odia language market has grown multifold in recent times. Same way, Bhojpuri is becoming the next big thing. I think new channels are being launched there. This is television. Same way in OTT as well. OTT also is trying to, and in some of these languages, there are limited avenues to tell the stories, right? But there are stories, a lot more stories to be told. And when there are a lot more stories but limited avenues in television, then you have your new OTT channels coming up, right? But consolidation will happen at some point. We watch Money Heist, right? It's a Spanish, Money Heist is an emotion for many of us here. We watch, I think, you know better, Puduyugam, I think you guys dubbed Korean series, one of the first guys to do it. Now MX Player is doing it.
Thank God somebody is taking the channel's name. I'm really happy.
So, so like, and I think Mr. Srinivasan also spoke. November Story. It was meant for Tamil audience, right? But it was better received in Hindi.
Hotstar, right?
In Hotstar. So as local as you go, there is a chance that you go global, right? In terms of reach. Earlier, when I was talking to Mr. Srinivasan, also asking him, how do you license your content to international, players and all that. So there is, however amount of content is produced out there, it is not enough. Like we are hungry as a consumer, we are hungry for more content, right? So there is space for new players to come. At the same time, consolidation will happen at some point, is what I believe. Like,
Do you also have a thinking that more OTT means much better way for you to negotiate? No.
No, not all of them are open for advertisement, right? They are all not advertisement AVODs. Many of them are subscription based. Aha, Kude, I think most of them are subscription based. And some of the largest platforms in the world are not advertising platforms.
SOV, most of them are SOVDs.
SOVODs, yeah. So, Amazon launched channels, right? Where you could subscribe to other OTT platforms within Amazon Prime. Like you could subscribe to Mubi, or you could subscribe to, I think, Lionsgate Play and all of that.
That comes with Apple. Eros, right? Eros
Yeah.
and Lionsgate Play.
Lionsgate Play, Eros Now. We could subscribe to other OTT platforms within Amazon Prime. So that that consolidation and aggregation of OTT platforms in a single platform, all of that will happen at some point. That's and I think there is enough content to be produced, enough stories to be told, and we have billion plus people, so there are enough domestic market to there's huge domestic market to fulfill. Even now, even though we say our video market is about 800 billion people, there are only 10% of us who watch only digital content, right? There is still a huge space for the audience viewership itself to grow. I think in short term, at least for next 2-3 years, there can be a lot of players who can make most out of it in terms of subscription revenue. But in the long term, I think there will be consolidations.
Bharat, I have a question for you. Do you think how can brands invest wisely if they can measure ROI in a holistic way and not just silo media metrics?
Sorry?
I'm saying, how can brands invest wisely if they can measure ROI?
So what happens is, like I said, if the brands are able to understand what is working and what is not working in a agile manner. When I say agile manner, when you do a campaign, you need to know what is working and what is not working after the campaign, so that you can make decisions.
Your tracking is purely on GRPs, or you talk on sales?
On sales, outcomes, right? Outcomes, walk-ins, leads, any outcome, right? So when you know that, what happens is that you are able to quickly make a decision. Okay, so this is not working. Let's say, for example, even between TV and OTT, right? Within TV, this channel is not working, but this channel is working. You no longer look at only media metrics, right? You look at effectiveness metrics, and you start to buy media with effectiveness and not media efficiency. It is like, you can buy the best media rate for a publication, but if it's not working, then the whole thing is wasted, right? Even though you got the best rate in the world, but that is wasted, right? So what we've seen is that we work for US clients, we work for Indian clients, and we work for the best, the topmost advertisers in the world. And what we've realized is that because they don't have a unified measurement solution, 20 to 25% of the media budgets is kind of becoming inefficient or not able to produce the result that they want to produce. For $1 trillion business across the world, that's close to $200 billion of media dollars being, in a way, not used to with the effectiveness the way it should be, right? So when you know what is working and what is not working, you will be able to make decisions in the right manner, and you'll be able to see how you can improve your ROI better and better, right?
Uday wants to say something.
So for a related point, for one of our largest FMCG clients, we did a similar exercise of correlating uh, correlating inputs to business outcomes. Right? They wanted to get into a market. They wanted to launch one of the categories in a market which was hugely competitive, but they didn't have enough monies. So and that didn't have enough monies. Like if they had enough monies, they would have. I think as a typical FMCG client and brand, they would have done SOV planning, right? Because they didn't have enough monies, they wanted to see what else can be done, and that led to analytics of how all these inputs are led to better business outcomes, and realized on the GRP part, beyond certain level of GRP, it was not making any impact on the business outcome. Maybe, say for example, if they had 100 GRP and they were aiming for 200 because they had a SOV, metric in mind.
Yeah.
But 100 plus 100 to 200 GRP didn't make any impact on the business outcome at all. You're spending money. You are achieving because competition is making so much noise. You wanted to achieve certain SOV. You would have spent if you had money, but it wouldn't have made any impact even on your eventual business outcome. So that is why I think it is important that not just while whatever inputs that we put in is not just about measuring the middle outputs like your GRP or even your mind measures. I think we should be looking beyond all of that to business outcomes.
Also, what happens is from a publisher point of view, right? So what happens is that moment you get into the channel share game, your basic media metrics game, publishers who are, let's say, tier 2 publishers, or let's say you call them niche publishers catering to a certain audiences, those publishers will never get their due share because the top guys have already taken all the monies. I mean, take, for example, your Pudiyagam and Pudithalamare, who have very niche, strong audiences. Or, for example, Hello FM, right? They have their own niche audiences. And if, those guys don't get their fair share because if you just do basic media efficiency-based metrics, you will never get the right effectiveness-based publishers also in the plan.
Okay, while we have 2 more minutes, does anybody want to ask any questions? Anybody has any questions for the panelists, or did we bore you all? Oh, Mr. Mani. Yes. Somebody give him a mic. Yes, somebody, yeah.
Hi, I'm Mani from Armor, Transit Media. This is a question to partly to Bharat, partly to Uday. This is more for a knowledge purpose. How is the current trend post-pandemic, the weightage to data for media planning versus post-execution? How much is the weightage going on now? Because earlier, a lot of weightage for the media planning used to go on gut feeling, right? How has that trend changed? Is there a wholesome change or not? Just for a knowledge purpose. Because I'm coming from the point of view, like a brand like Vasant & Company or Chennai Silk, 80% of the media planning is done already, right? They know where they have to be present, either in a bus stand or a T Nagar street or a road. The other factories, okay, my MD travels from Anna Nagar to Gumudi Pundi, right? I have to have 6 bus shelters. How far is it changing in the media planning part is what I want to know. I know data is coming into the post.
I can tell you from 2 perspectives, right? And this is, earlier I used to think that because we work mostly in US, we felt that winds of change or the need for wanting something to measure the ROI, which is post execution in an agile manner, is only in US. So, but it's true. Even in India, like we were talking, you'll not believe. Last 1 week, we were talking to someone who is who is managing like at least hundreds of brands, and they said that winds of change are coming, and every brand that we are talking to wants to understand effectiveness, which is post execution and not just pre execution, and no longer about SOV.
And yeah, I think time's up, but anyway, I will just make this point. If it was 80% gut feel and 20% number, post number, I think it is slowly shifting towards, trusting a little more of data analytics before the campaign, than just doing postmortem.